Friedrich Nietzsche is not for the faint of heart. He never intended to be. The German philosopher was a master of confrontation, not with fists, but with ideas that strike the soul like a sword. His words weren't crafted to please. They were built to challenge, destroy illusions, and tear the comfortable fabric of conventional morality to shreds. And when it came to women, Nietzsche pulled no punches. Many modern readers, especially men, are disturbed by his unapologetic thoughts on femininity, love, and the roles between the sexes. He wasn't politically correct. He didn't care for cultural validation. He sought truth, brutal, raw, and often deeply uncomfortable. In today's world, where emotional sensitivity often overrides raw insight, Nietzsche's views on women and relationships sound like a slap across the face. But for the man who dares to understand them, Nietzsche offers clarity. Not softness, not sympathy, but the brutal awareness necessary for power, strength, and masculine evolution. This is the truth modern men aren't ready to hear. But you, if you're brave, must hear it. Nietzsche didn't hate women. He didn't fear them either. What he despised was illusion, especially the illusion that men and women are the same in their nature, psychology, or roles. He viewed life through the lens of power, instinct, will, and eternal return. In that ruthless framework, he examined women not as society wanted them to be, but as they are. To understand Nietzsche's truth about women, you must first understand that he wasn't trying to write a love story. He was describing a war, the war of nature, instincts, roles, and desires. And in that war, sentiment is often the first casualty. Modern men struggle with Nietzsche's view for a simple reason. They've been taught to pedestalize women, to ignore their instincts, and to neuter their own masculine energy in favor of approval and acceptance. But Nietzsche had no such chains. He was bound only to truth, no matter how brutal it sounded. He once wrote, "Everything in woman is a riddle, and everything in woman hath one solution. It is called pregnancy." This statement is not merely biological. It is philosophical. Nietzsche viewed woman as life's vehicle for continuation, not as an equal in strength or rationality, but as a force of nature tied to instincts far deeper and more cunning than man often realizes. Where man strives for greatness, conquest, and legacy, woman preserves, protects, and reproduces. Her power is not an outward force, but an internal influence. Nietzsche saw a woman as a master of subtle control, emotional leverage, and silent domination. A man thinks he leads, but often he is simply guided. And this is where the modern man crumbles. Because he wants to believe in fairy tales. He wants to believe love is pure, equal, and above instincts. He forgets that beneath the perfume and softness is a mind shaped by centuries of survival, manipulation, and emotional strategy. Nietzsche believed that women understood life better than men in one crucial way. They never pretended it was about ideals. For them, it was about survival, power, and continuation. Everything else was secondary. He did not say women were weak. He implied they were dangerous precisely because they weren't. A woman doesn't overpower you physically. She overpowers you subtly, with suggestion, beauty, approval, withdrawal. She makes you doubt yourself, and then offers herself as the reward for self-denial. Nietzsche saw this not as evil, but as natural. Where men build empires, women build influence. Where men write philosophies, women write destinies. In silence, in bedrooms, in glances. Nietzsche once warned men, go to women, don't forget the whip. This controversial quote isn't a call to violence, as critics suggest. It's a symbolic call to awareness. A warning that if you approach women without strength, without power, without the ability to say no, you will be dominated. Not by force, but by the feminine ability to subdue through need, affection, and emotional enslavement. He meant, don't approach women without your strength intact. Don't approach women looking for completion. Don't expect mercy in a game of nature. And this is the truth modern men can't handle. They want comfort. Nietzsche offers war. They want validation. Nietzsche offers warning. They want to be told women are angels. Nietzsche says, women are powerful, instinctual beings. Respect that, or be destroyed by it. In many ways, Nietzsche was a prophet of discomfort. He wanted man to rise, but not through flattery or romance. He believed man could only rise by confronting the abyss within and around him. And part of that abyss was the truth about women. He didn't teach hatred. He taught awareness. And in that awareness, he demanded that men never abandon their will to power. He observed that men who fall too deeply into romantic idealism become weak. They trade their mission for validation. They lose their edge, and with it their soul. He feared men who were willing to kneel for affection, because once a man does that, he is no longer sovereign. He is no longer dangerous. He is no longer man. And that, to Nietzsche, was the greatest tragedy. So what does this mean for the modern man? It means you must look at women not as dreams, but as realities. Beautiful, emotional, instinctual realities. Capable of love, but also capable of destruction. Capable of nurturing, but also of manipulating. Capable of giving life, and of robbing yours if you enter blind. Nietzsche calls upon men to stop begging, stop hoping, stop worshiping illusions. He calls them to return to their inner will, the flame that defines their purpose, strength, and independence. He believed women respected this above all, a man who does not need them, a man who moves toward his mountain, a man who is not swayed by affection, but who allows it when it aligns with his mission. And this is why modern men fail, because they've built their identity on being accepted by women. They measure their worth through dates, attention, and validation. But Nietzsche would call this enslavement, a soft kind, but enslavement nonetheless. True masculinity, in Nietzsche's eyes, was untamed, not violent, but sovereign, not heartless, but unyielding. A man must be a force of becoming, not a servant of approval. He must not fear the chaos of women. He must walk through it with clarity. He must not expect simplicity from the feminine. He must thrive in its complexity. He must not hope to be understood. He must be understood by himself. Nietzsche didn't give men romance. He gave them reality. And in that reality, he gave them power, but only if they were strong enough to accept it. Women, in Nietzsche's world, are not problems to be solved. They are forces to be respected. But a man who loses himself in their eyes, in their laughter, in their softness, is a man who forfeits his crown. Modern men cannot handle Nietzsche because he doesn't cater to their softness. He doesn't tell them they are enough just as they are. He tells them to become more aware, more sovereign, more ruthless in their pursuit of truth. And truth is never soft. So if you want comfort, scroll elsewhere. But if you want the kind of self-respect that cannot be bought, begged for, or borrowed, Nietzsche is your man. His truths about women are not easy, but they are necessary, because the man who understands women through Nietzsche's lens is not cruel. He is not manipulative. He is simply unshakable. And in today's world, that is the rarest power of all. Be warned, the truth isn't for everyone, but if you're still reading, it might just be for you. Nietzsche didn't offer paradise. He offered fire. And if you have the will to walk through it, you won't just understand women. You'll understand yourself.